Now y'all stinking ass done sat over there and complained and complained and complained about every damn thing on the road. Now ain't nobody to complain to. Now figure that shit out. Call customer service, nigga, and tell on nobody. Yeah, I can hear your dumb ass now on the phone. Yeah, hello? Yeah, nobody's driving this fucking truck, and it's just on the road, just driving by itself. Now y'all stinking ass done.
Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Although this video is funny, first thing that came to my mind is, Esau just replacing human labor with these machines that he has been creating. Taking these ideas from Moab, of course, but we know Esau, Edom, does not like to even pay the little cents and little crumbs that he pays to, you heathens and you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, you Israelites, you true Israelites, children of Israel. He pays you nothing really for your labor. And he loves that because he has built an infinite fortune, on free labor, from slavery, from the transatlantic slave trade, right? So he is replacing, man with machine. He doesn't have to pay these machines, man. It's more money for him. That's what he wants to do. That's what's in his heart, thinking that his kingdom is going to continue forever, which it ain't. His kingdom is coming to an end. Babylon is currently falling right now. Moab is exposing them as well, exposing all the lies that people and, the misconceptions that people have about brands and how things work. Been trying to tell people these things for years. But Esau is, call all Yahweh Shemel Shai. It's all Yahweh Shemel Shai's power and work, exposing these devils. However, you Jake, you Israelites are going to cry. It's going to get worse for you because Esau is indeed, replacing man with machine. He has AI. AI can do the jobs that you people do. Many of these jobs you do, call center jobs, answering the phone, customer service. Those type of jobs aren't hard things to do. AI has all the information to do that. Driving a truck, a bus or whatever it may be, they have the technology to perform these things, as you can see in the video here.
Over there and complained,
right?
And complained and complained about
every see that bus driving itself. So these are things that Esau has already implemented on the earth. To an extent, you have, delivery systems where there's no driver. It's just machine. We have a Tesla that can drive itself as well. So that technology is there. Amongst other fields, in factories, they don't need factory workers really, in the States like that, for the factories that they have here, the poisonous food industry that they have, it's mostly machine, man. So this process has been, has been in the process of implementation, right? It's not a new thing. You're going to see more pop-ups of different machineries and things made to replace you humans in the work industry, right? Because what do I have here? I have so the point I wanted to make here in Ephesians 4 is that, Jake, Jake is in a lot of situations where they don't have money, because of this the state that Yahweh Shemel Shai has them in, so they steal. But more jobs being taken from them, being replaced by a machine, you're gonna have more slacky and more thefts, more stealing taking place, because we're in this slacky, we're being ruled by the wicked. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. Just gathering my thoughts there. So this is a law. In Ephesians 4:28 it says, "Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working his hands the thing which is good." Right. So, in order to prevent stuff like that, Allah said, "Let him that's stole steal no more." Work, put your hands to work. Work. In the society itself too. Just find a job. Do what you can instead of stealing. If you have a skill that you can do, put your hands to work and work for yourself. Through this rhythm of Yahweh Shemasha. If you get a job from one of these double companies, Edomite or whatever heathen company, hires you, you work. You put your hand to work. You do construction, you put your hand to work in a factory, you put your hand to work. You drive for Amazon, UPS, DHL, whatever it may be. You put your hands to work, but guess what? Esau is replacing these things with machines, man. These jobs with machines, So he's not gonna apply this law. He doesn't apply the laws of Yahweh Shemel Shai. But that's why the people are mourning. And the people are gonna mourn more and more. Not just to curse about who's driving this car like that, but also to cuss that they don't have jobs. People already are finding it hard to get certain jobs. It's not an easy thing to get jobs in this society, man, in this wicked world, man, in this Babylonian system. It's very hard. It's almost impossible for some people. They try for months, year to land a job, and they have no success. It's gonna get worse. That's the point of reading this. Esau doesn't apply this law right here. None at all, man, and it's already bad. Let me see, what else I have here. I got this is Deuteronomy chapter 24. Verse 14, and it says, "This is also allowed: thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy stranger that are in the land, that are in thy land within thy gates." And verse 15 says, "At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee." The point of reading this is to, just to show how, perfect Yahweh Shem Shai is, and the law is perfect because it deals with all of these different dynamics, that arise, when the righteous are in authority, these things are implemented, the poor and the people that are in need are supposed to be dealt with in a certain way. Esau doesn't give a fuck. This go also would go into, paying, fair wages, for the work that has been done. Esau does not do that. And you can't expect Esau Edom to do that because he is the wicked. He is everything contrary to Yahweh Shem Shai. So let me get as we all know this is Salakia. This is Haggai chapter 1 verse 6. And it says, "Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes." Right? And that's the reality, of the tribes today. You work for money that you don't even get to enjoy or you really use for anything for real. It's as if, putting the money into a bag with holes and just falling out, and shit's gonna get worse because Esau is replacing man with machine. He doesn't really need you people for the jobs that you are currently holding right now. That's gonna be of not it's gonna be no more. These things are gonna be, stories of the past, because replacing, man with machine, it's a part of the mark of the MOTB, the agenda, agenda 2030. They're trying to minimize these things. They're trying to make it in a way where you're forced to be a part of their system, forced to be branded by him, forced to take his mark, to be a part of his system and work in his system, to buy or sell and stuff, so on and so forth. So that's why he's gonna do these type of things, man. So let me get, and it's wicked and it's unjust, right? So this is let me start Psalm 73 verse 3, one of my favorite verses to bring out with these type of things. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Esau prospers in many different ways, man, going from the back to the days of slavery, free labor. He's prospering, getting rich off of free labor, man, not paying, not applying the law in Deuteronomy that I read, because they're the devils. That's why, we were punished, because our people, were made not to hearken unto Yahweh Hashem Shai and go through such things, So in the kingdom, ultimately we're gonna appreciate, and and love and understand certain things more through the spirit. It's all of experience. With life, without experience, you don't really understand certain things, right? So that's just how Yahweh Hashem Shai made it to be, you know. But these Edomites prosper even in today by paying you people peanuts, man. By stacking up on real riches and printing federal reserves to you, you heathen and you Israelites today, thinking that federal reserves have value when they have none. They can print money till till now, till 10 years from now, man. They will never run out because it's being printed. It's being made, it's being made, by paper. It has no value. That's not where the value is, man. The value is really in gold, precious stones, stuff like that. Diamond, rubies, emeralds, stuff like that. That's where the value is. So it goes on to say there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Their strength is firm because Yahweh Hashem Shai gave them that power. He gave the earth into their hands to destroy you Israelites, man, to put you Israelites under oppression as a form of punishment. But this is coming to an end. And verse 5 said, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And they will be rewarded. The reward is extinction. They will be destroyed. They'll be put into slavery for all of what they have done. However, you Israelites are still under the curses, you still have, more, time left in the movie. The movie is not yet done. The movie has to be fulfilled, till the end. So you are going to continue suffering. You 2/3 Israelites are going to suffer more and more, and things are going to get worse for you all. It's going to get worse for everybody on earth, but the difference is we have faith, right? So before I read that, let me get Proverbs, because the Lord is not going to help you 2/3, man. It's just going to get worse for you. But for the elect, the Lord will be with the elect. So this is Proverbs chapter 1, verse 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you. Right? So when things get worse, shit hit the fan, you're looking for jobs and you're trying to survive in this Babylonian system, in this beast system, when the MOTB is implemented, the Lord is going to laugh at you, man. The Lord is going to make you may take the MOTB, 2/3, you may take the MOTB, you may be in the system, you may be functioning normal for a while, but then shit's just going to get worse and worse for you. That's why the scripture talks about the grievous sore and so on and so forth. There's no repentance for taking the MOTB, man. Verse 20 it says, "Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. They would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way. Their own wickedness will correct them, and they'll be judged and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whosoever heareth unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from evil, quiet from fear of evil, and that's what's gonna happen, man. It's gonna get worse for you people. Just seeing, that self-driving, bus or truck, box truck, whatever it is, that's what came to mind. All right. So all right, so this is Hebrews chapter 6. Yeah, I'll just read the KJV version right here, verse 19. So, referring to hope, faith, which hope, this is what the elect has, which hope we have as an anchor of the soul. This faith that Yahweh has gifted the elect is what pulls them through, man. It's what will keep them protected, keep them will keep them on the path of deliverance, right? Both sure and steadfast, right? Because an anchor is firm. Anchor is what holds a ship, in one place. Keep, so this hope keeps the elect, in us in the place of faith, man. In a sure, safe place, firm, sure, trusty. That's the spirit, man. Which enter into that within the evil, which entereth into that within the veil, Salakia, right? Evil fucking Satan, man. That's how this is the truth. Just want to see what this word goes into. Anyways, right? And it goes on to say, and that's pretty much a point there, man. Whither the forerunner is for us entered, even Yahushua made a high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Right, so, the faith is what we're going to have, man. The elect is going to have faith, in these times when, Esau takes away certain jobs that, brothers may have, replacing them with machine. And there's more videos, going into stuff like this, but, seeing that, little comedy skit that sparked, the thought that, that's what Esau, part of his agenda, man, and Agenda 2030, man. He has a lot of things planned, and he's going to get to do some of these things for a short time. Then he's going to be destroyed, and put into change, so, we look for, new heavens where dwell in righteousness, where the elect, where the earth is not mourning, people are not mourning, because even, to create, before I close, even to create vehicles such as self-driving vehicles, he destroys the earth, man. He doesn't keep the land Sabbath, man. He doesn't do that. The earth is always being plowed. The earth is mourning as well as the people, So with that, all praise and glory goes to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh, Abad Babal.